So starting off our collection tour, I'm first going to show y'all what I am working on right now. It won't be finished by the time the collection tour is ready. So this is the Palace Cinema modular building from 2013. And it'll be featured in next month's collection tour, but I've only gotten like a third of the set done. So I thought I'd show y'all that first. And then the other thing on my desk is this LEGO Star Wars Original Trilogy display shadow box. Has some minifigures from Star Wars Rebels and the original trilogy movies. And then right next to it, I have my LEGO Star Wars prequel display. And the new minifigures in this one this month are Chancellor Palpatine and this Phase 2 Clone Trooper. Those are the only two new additions, I think, to this particular shadow box this month, though there aren't many expansions planned for it. I like to consider it mostly finished. And another detail that I kind of forgot to include in last month's is there's actually this LED remote that connects to both of these shadow boxes, and it allows for me to light both of them up, and it honestly looks fantastic. There are several different settings on it too. I mostly display it on this blue light, and I think it looks really, really nice, but you can also set it to be on this fade setting, which looks really cool in my opinion, and it creates for a nice little atmosphere. I don't usually use it too much though, as I much prefer just the single blue color to it. And then right above it, I have the 2019 LEGO Star Wars Tantive 4 set, which is one of my favorite sets in my LEGO collection. It really looks fantastic. And then I've also got the Tatooine Homestead gift of purchase on my desk. And then I have this like McDonald's LEGO Wild style cup as well too, which I think is pretty cool. And then right above my desk, I still have the Home Alone, I guess, LEGO Ideas set. A great set. I like to display it year-round. And then next to it in this gap, I am planning on putting the LEGO Back to the Future Time Machine DeLorean set right here. I think it'll look great, and it'll go great next to the T2 camper van, which I have displayed right next to that empty space. So it'll be good to fill that up. And right on top of this shelf has not changed very much at all. It still houses the Ghostbusters Ecto 1 display with this minifigure stand from Bricklink, and then I also still have the Stranger Things Upside Down, as well as the Brickheads, and this Haunted House set from the Monster Fighters theme, which is still one of my favorite sets, and it's honestly one of the best LEGO sets ever released. And then on top of this, I have my modular building display. And this is going to slightly change up this month, though you'll probably notice it much more in next month's collection update. We still have all of our Marvel minifigures displayed on here, and the first one is the Boutique Hotel, which is honestly one of my favorite modular buildings. That just looks fantastic, and it's probably one of the best ones that they've done in recent years. And then next to that, I have the Parisian Restaurant, which is also one of my favorites, and then the new to 2023 Jazz Club, and we also have the police station, and my personal favorite is the detective's office, and we also have the pet shop, and you can see the first floor of the Palace Cinema here, and it looks good. It's a good start. Really like these movie theater posters right here, and I'm excited to see what it'll look like when it's all finished up. It's gonna look fantastic, I think. So that's the LEGO Creator Expert modular building display. I think it looks fantastic, and something I forgot to show y'all, I think, in last month's collection tour is this really cool Tears of the Kingdom poster. Not LEGO related, but I still thought it was cool, and it deserves to be showcased. But the thing we all care about is probably the Daily Bugle display, which is one of, I would consider, the big centerpieces to my collection. And it starts off with the Sanctum Sanctorum from last year. Fantastic set, though a little overpriced in my opinion. And then I've also got Gargantua Showdown posed on top of it, which I think looks really nice. And then the display continues with the Assembly Square with the Goat Boat on top of it. There's tons of Marvel minifigures posed here, and the big one, the Daily Bugle, still remains one of my favorite LEGO sets ever released, in my opinion. It really completes this kind of Marvel modular building display, in my opinion, and looks great. And y'all probably recognized in the very bottom of the background here is that we have the minifigures to the UCS Millennium Falcon just kind of chilling down here. And that's because I don't have space for them in the collection yet. I'm actually waiting on a display stand to come in the mail from Wicked Bricks, but I do have the minifigures and the display plaque placed right here, and it looks fantastic. I've also got this other satellite from The Force Awakens, and we've also got this new poster that I decided to hang up. And speaking of the UCS Millennium Falcon, here it is on the floor right now. It's going to probably stay there for a few more weeks until my stand comes in the mail, but this was definitely the biggest Lego set that I got this month. It is my biggest Lego set in my entire collection. It's got about 7,500 pieces, retail price of $850, and it is easily one of my favorite Lego Star Wars sets ever, and will probably remain my favorite Lego set for a while. I could not see many things beating this out, and I'm very, very excited to finally get my display stand in so I can have it properly displayed and not just on the floor, because it kind of sucks how it's on the floor for now, because it deserves the spotlight in the collection, in my opinion. And moving on to kind of an area that doesn't really get the spotlight too much, we have my sitcom display, which starts off with the Office Lego set, which is easily one of my favorites in my collection, though I feel like it's kind of gotten knocked off of my top 10 list since I've gotten more and more sets recently, so it's gotten knocked off of there. But anyway, we also have the Seinfeld set and the Friends Central Perk set. All of those are fantastic sets. I really should pay more attention to them. I feel like they kind of get overshadowed a lot. But also on my TV stand, and probably one of the other centerpieces to my collection has got to be my DC superhero shadow boxes. This first one is one of my favorites. It's got a bunch of weird DC minifigures, and I'd say my favorites are definitely Starfire. I also really like this Superboy minifigure, and another favorite is Red Hood. Really like that shadow box, and right next to it is the DC Supervillains shadow box, which actually has my most expensive and rare minifigure in my collection, and it's probably my favorite out of the three up here. And then finally, the one all the way to the left of this shelf is my LEGO Marvel superhero shadow box, and you can see it's complete with Thanos and a bunch of characters from the MCU. And like the Star Wars shadow boxes on my desk, this is also able to light up, and I never showed that last time, which is kind of a shame because it looks so good lit up, and I honestly don't utilize this enough. It really shines some light on the minifigures and gives them a nice little, makes them pop on display a bit, I would say. And I should really have these on more. I like to have them on at night. It really kind of creates a cool little atmosphere, but I want to try and add lights to some of my other sets in my LEGO collection as well. So maybe that'll be something we have in the July update. But anyway, moving on. On top of this, I have my Ninjago City display, and this is easily one of my favorite parts of my LEGO collection. I've been a die-hard LEGO Ninjago fan since the series came out in 2011, and we finally added the Ninjago City markets to it this month, and they look fantastic. But before we get into those, though, let's check out the Ninjago City Gardens, which for a while was actually my favorite LEGO set in my collection. It's complete with this golden Sensei Wu minifigure, and it just looks fantastic. I added a few minifigures to this display, so it kind of changed. Like, one of the new minifigures that I added to this particular building was this Klaus minifigure from Tournament of Elements, and we kind of moved a few minifigures around just to change it up and make it, I guess, be a little different from than it was before, and I really like it a lot. I also moved Master Chen down here to this little island, and then the big attraction, the new addition to this display is Ninjago City Markets. Fantastic set. Like, honestly, just the amount of detail in it is just superb. It has so many cool play features and just so many distinct elements in it too, and I displayed some Ninjago minifigures in it too. I also love this cable car feature. It's so cool. Like, the colors, the play features, everything about this set is just perfect in my opinion. I would say it's probably my third favorite LEGO set in my collection. It just has so many details, so many good minifigures, and it just looks outstanding. It looks even better, in my opinion, when you have it stacked up next to Ninjago City Gardens, and it just makes for a fantastic display piece, I would say. But the next thing we'll look at is going to be my Nintendo shelf, and my Nintendo LEGO shelf has the LEGO NES, and I really like this cartridge, and I've got some of these polybag LEGO Nintendo sets, as well as the Super Mario 64 question mark block, which looks really cool. I got that back when the Mario movie came out, and then of course we have the NES TV, and the Mighty Bowser is of course playing the NES, which is easily one of my favorite parts of my LEGO collection. And then I've got, not LEGO, but a nice Mario poster, and then we've got this skeleton storage head on this shelf next to it, as well as the Dark Trooper. That's not its permanent place, don't worry. And we have the 1989 Batwing, one of the best LEGO Batman sets. And then we also have the new Batman Returns LEGO Batcave Shadow Box. Little bit overpriced, but if you look past the price, it does have some fantastic details inside of this set. Personally, one of my favorites in my collection. I'd say this easily makes the top 10. It's like, I think a little over 4,000 or maybe a little under 4,000 pieces, but it is just fantastic. I love that set so much. And moving on to some more of my Batman sets, I have the 1989 Batmobile, which used to be one of my favorites, but since I've gotten more sets, it's kind of gotten knocked off the top 10. And then we've got the minifigure and UCS Dark Knight Trilogy Tumbler sets, which are both fantastic. Love the Dark Knight Trilogy. And speaking of that, we've also got the Bat from The Dark Knight Rises, which is cool. And one of my favorite parts are these classic Batman minifigure displays, and we have the Justice League as well as the 2012 LEGO Batcave. And then one of my favorite sets in my DC collection is the 2012 LEGO Arkham Asylum. Literally one of the best LEGO sets ever released. And then next to it we have the Dynamic Duo Funhouse Escape, and this hasn't changed from the last collection video. We've still got the Batwing and the classic Batmobile, as well as the new Batcave, and some of the Lex Luthor mechs down here as well. And then I've just got some LEGO books down here. And then next to this shelf is the 2018, I believe, UCS Hulkbuster. Such an underrated set. This set gets way too much hate. I think it looks fantastic, and it really, I think it looks great in my collection. And right below that, we of course have my Iron Man shelf, which is complete with the Nano Gauntlet as well as the Iron Man helmet. And this Hulkbuster is actually the same version as this one, the UCS one, except this is minifigure scale. And we also have Ironmonger Mayhem, as well as my custom LEGO Iron Man Hall of Armor. This uses, I think, about 3 of the Iron Man Hall of Armor sets, and combine this all together to showcase my Iron Man minifigures. And right below this, I'm going to put the new Spider-Man No Way Home Final Battle set. I think that'll look great next to the Web Warriors Bridge Battle set, one of my favorite Marvel sets of all time, I would say. And then we also have the Wolverine Mech Armor, and then below this is a new shelf. It's got the Black Panther War on the Water set, kind of a trash set if I'm being honest, but next to that we have the Marvel CMF minifigures, and I also have the X-Men X-Jet, which is really cool. And then this is my new Endgame shelf. I kind of moved some sets around, but we've got Bro Thor's new Asgard, and we also have the Avengers Endgame Final Battle, and I added a few minifigures of my own to the display. And where the Dragonflyer is right now, I'm actually going to try and put in the new Avengers Final Battle set. And then we've also got the Infinity Gauntlet on this shelf too, which looks really cool. And then below it, we've got one of the new Black Panther sets, as well as the Quinjet, and we have the Ghost Rider mech, as well as the Iron Sub. And on the bottom, we just have more LEGO books and comics. And this next shelf, which is actually on my radiator, so not really a shelf, but this houses exclusively the Mos Eisley Cantina set. This is easily one of my favorite sets in my LEGO collection. Fantastic. Get it before it retires. It looks amazing. I've got an entire, I guess if you want to call it a shelf, dedicated to it. And my backlog currently consists of the Palace Cinema and Thor's Hammer. So we'll get to see that in next month's collection tour. But moving on to some of the more of the Marvel stuff, we've got the Benadar as well as Baby Rocket's ship, and I'm actually going to put the Star-Lord helmet in that gap right here. And then next to the future helmet of the Star-Lord helmet, I have the Bowie, and I moved my Eternals display up here because I thought it went better with the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. And then here's one of my new shelves I put up this month. It houses all of the LEGO Star Wars helmets except the Dark Trooper, as there's no room for it, but Dark Trooper's kind of trash, so it doesn't deserve to be on this shelf. No, just kidding, but I think it looks pretty cool. And then we've also got my Clone Army right here, as well as my not LEGO Black Series Bo-Katan helmet, which is pretty cool. It does function as a helmet. And below it, I've got one of my Clone Wars / prequel shelves, which has the AAT, as well as this Ahsoka Tano minifigure. And I also really like this Justifier set from the Bad Batch. It's kind of like Dark Side themed, I guess. And we have Duel Mustafar, and new to the display this month, the Droid Tri-Fighter and the Bounty Hunter gunship. And then right below this, I have the 2022 ATTE from, I think it's episode 3. Actually, I don't think it's based off of the Clone Wars. And then I've also got the Republic fighter tank, and I plan to put the 2016 turbo tank in this empty spot in the month of July. But below that, I have the Dual Mandalore as well as the Fang Fighter, and I also have the Mandalorian Starfighter from 2021. Fantastic set. And I do want to put the Ahsoka Clone Trooper Battle Pack on that shelf too. And then below it is my main Starfighter display. It includes Yoda's Starfighter as well as the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle. And then we've also got Obi-Wan's Starfighter, Anakin's Interceptor, and my favorite General Grievous' Starfighter, as well as the 501st Battle Packs. And on the very bottom, I have my Sculpture collection for the LEGO Star Wars set. So it's complete with the Imperial Probe Droid as well as Grogu. My favorite being R2-D2, and then that's followed by BD1. And my next shelf houses probably some of my more rare LEGO Star Wars sets. I've got the Death Star Gift with Purchase, as well as my favorite, actually not my second favorite LEGO Star Wars set, the Ewok Village. Only one I like more is the ECS Millennium Falcon, but that set's amazing. Very rare too, probably my rarest set. And then below it, the Return of the Jedi vibes continue with the Endor Speeder Chase diorama, as well as the Boba Fett Starship Microfighter, and I have the Desert Skiff Escape, and of course the highly sought after Jabba's Sail Barge set. And then below this, I have the 2012 LEGO Star Wars Jabba's Palace set, which is probably my top 10 favorite LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. And then we've got the 20th Anniversary Slave 1, as well as the Mandalorian Battle Pack, and I have the Dark Trooper Attack set from Season 2 of The Mandalorian. And we have even more Mandalorian sets down here with the Armored Marauder, as well as the Imperial Light Cruiser, and I also have the Armorer's Mandalorian Forge, and then I have some of the new Diorama series sets down here, which both look really cool. My favorite's probably the Dagobah one, and then this will be where Yavin 4 goes in August, and then I've also got the Trench Run and the Death Star Trash Compactor, and then the very bottom has my Kenobi sets, which are probably some of the dustiest sets in my collection. Still haven't dusted them, but we'll get there. And then I've also got my 20th Anniversary LEGO Star Wars minifigures, and then I have my Brickhead display. This first shelf is actually complete. I finally filled up all of the slots for it, and then below this I have a very lonely Tusken Raider, but maybe when they release more Star Wars Brickheads he'll have some friends. And then we've got the best Star Wars movie poster right here, and this now transitions us into my Empire Strikes Back display, which has some TIE fighters as well as the Imperial dropship. We've also got Luke's X-Wing, and we've got some stuff from the Battle of Hoth, as well as the Gold Leader's Y-Wing. And I have to say, I love my Battle of Hoth display. Love that Wampa Cave, and the AT-AT looks fantastic. That's the 40th anniversary one. And we've also got the AT-ST and the 2020, or I think it's 21 actually, version of the Imperial Shuttle. And this is where my Millennium Falcon's gonna go once my display stand hopefully arrives later on in July. And then the next stuff we'll look at is, actually inside my closet we have some of my loose Lego pieces. And then this is my minifigure bin. This specific one houses my extra DC Lego characters right here. So that's where those go. And then I've also got my spare Star Wars characters. Down here we can see a few clone troopers and some other cool minifigures. And then I also have my spare Lego Marvel superhero characters, which look pretty cool. And then I've got a few extra Lego Ninjago characters too right here. And this is also where I store all of my Lego boxes. I like to keep my Lego boxes now, and I've also got a few other sets that I don't have space for in my collection, such as this Creator 3-in-1 house, Emmett's Constructo-Mech, and from Cars 2, the Big Ben set. And then right here we have my sorted loose Lego pieces underneath my desk, and that is it. That is my entire Lego collection as of June of 2023. This was definitely one of the biggest months ever for my Lego collection. I collected a ton of sets. I think I spent probably $2,000 at least this month on Lego sets and shelf expansions. It was a big month for my Lego collection, but I'm very excited for the future, and I'm excited to see what sets we add in July. I think it'll be a great month. So that's all for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and definitely let me know what you think of my Lego collection, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching, everybody.